The watch is a collaboration between three of the market's most popular and adored independent watchmakers. The fact that this watch didn't get more attention in the press is absolutely ridiculous. Boom, watch fam. What is up, watch fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, and today I'm going to be talking about 3 of my favorite 6 watches from 2020, and we'll be doing the other 3, 4 through 6, on Friday. So let's do it. Before we do it, though, a quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing my vintage Rolex Bombay. We sell a ton of vintage Rolex in the Theo and Harris shop. A lot of dates, date justs, dates, a whole host of Rolex galore, and we are giving away a Rolex. Literally gonna put one in a package and send it to one of you lucky YouTube subscribers, probably pretty soon, actually. We're giving it away when we hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I think we'll be doing in like the next month or 2 months. It really just depends on how quickly you guys subscribe. So all you need to do is sign up for the giveaway in the link down below, and if you do both, subscribe to our channel at Theo and Harris. Again, as soon as we hit 100,000, we're just going to put a Rolex in a box and send it to one of you lucky people. So let's get into my favorite watches of 2020. And you'll be delighted to know that my first set of 3, and none of these are in particular order, but my first 3 are not Rolex. None of them, actually. The first one, we're actually going to head over into Germany, into the boutique of Lange Söhne. Lange Söhne, they have just released their 1815 Rattrapante, which is a split-second chronograph, in Honeygold. There are a couple of interesting things about this watch. First of all, just take a second to admire the beauty. I'm going to leave this here just for a second, just to drink it in. Wow. I love this freaking watch. The color combo is unbelievable. This Honeygold is more often done with white dials, but with the black, it's really interesting. Lange Söhne has done color combos like this before. Put this watch next to the 1815 chronograph, which is maybe my favorite watch from Lange Söhne in general. They do that watch in yellow and in white gold, but there's such a big difference in the vibe of the Honeygold versus the yellow. And the word Honeygold is actually appropriate. Some people call it rose, but it really isn't rose. This has a warmer, aptly named honey. It has a softer color than yellow gold, but it doesn't have the red, the pink, really the copper content that you find in rose. Very interesting little tidbit. So this watch was just released in celebration of their 175th year of watchmaking, which is really incredible. And believe it or not, in the 175 years of watchmaking, while Lange Söhne has manufactured chronographs, double split second chronographs, triple split second chronographs, they have never produced just a split second chronograph, which is a holy grail. It's kind of funny. That little fact gives you an insight into Lange Söhne's mind, thought process, that they chose to actually jump over the split second chronograph and go to the double split and the triple split. I suppose, speculating here, that they looked at it as been done. Brands do it. It's very, very difficult, and very few brands do it, but brands do it. So Lange wanted to, I suppose, show off their supremacy and their originality before they went and did something a little bit more well-known, a little bit more common. But let's be clear. These watches are incredibly complex in their architecture, and if you take a second to look at the finishing, not only is the finishing so meticulous and so beautiful, but even if you look into the logic behind the finishing, you can't help but to be impressed. Even the different metals that make up the movement are finished with different techniques. The steel components in the movement are mirror polished and beveled, whereas the German silver components have this beautiful, to me, it's one of my favorite looks, this grainy gradient finish. Listen, we expect this from Lange Söhne. Of course, the hand-engraved balance cock as well. We expect it from Lange Söhne, but we should never take it for granted. This is just one of the most incredible companies, and they're so not making watches for the mass market. This watch is so specifically for the most discerning and the most tasteful and the most educated watch enthusiasts. So Lange Söhne, fantastic watch. I couldn't possibly compliment you enough. Now, watch number 2 is actually from an independent, but not really just one independent. It's kind of from 3 independents. This is the LM101 by MB&F, made in collaboration with both Moser and Todaym. Incredible watch from beginning to end. This watch was manufactured in 4 different colors. I was actually lucky enough to try on the green last week, but I didn't snap a photo, which was like such a miss. Although maybe it's kind of cool I didn't. Maybe it's just a testament to how amazed I was with the watch. Now there are, I suppose, 3 things that really blew me away. And I'm talking off the cuff here, which is kind of cool. One was, no, I mean this because I'm talking from my heart. I mean that. I'm not just it's not that. I think I'm really talking from the heart. The first thing that blows you away, or at least blew me away, was the dial. Right, this is a classic Moser vignette dial, something that you really don't find, and because Moser does do it, it's become almost proprietarily theirs. Then of course you have the architecture of the LM101 just as a watch. It's bizarre. The flying balance wheel, of course, stands out the most, but even the way they chose to position the time in the kind of the upper right-hand quadrant of the center of the dial, everything about it. I mean, nothing symmetrical, but it's all balanced. And finally, the proportions of this watch blew me away. I've tried on MB&Fs before, and they're always beautiful, but I've always found that they're a bit too big for my wrist. Even some of these legacy machines, I tried on the Perpetual about a year ago, and it was too big for me. But this watch at 40 millimeters and those really short, tight lugs really worked. And of course, this beautiful domed crystal, while dramatic and interesting, it doesn't really distort anything going on in the dial, which is great. And number 2, isn't too big. I know that sounds crazy because it's huge, but it really isn't too big. Again, this is a brilliant watch, a collaboration from 3 independents that are just doing incredible things in and of their own right. But to see them all come together in harmony, that was amazing. Absolutely on this list, it deserves its spot. And now the third watch, something a little bit more mainstream. This is Audemars Piguet's Royal Oak in white gold with this incredible blue dial. It's like ice blue with darker blue accents, Grand Patisserie dial. Of course, like I said, this just white gold bullion, how heavy that must be is incredible. But you also have this thinness, right? The watch is 38 millimeters, but the thickness is 11 millimeters. That's very good. It's very impressive. Very traditionally Swiss. What happens a lot of the time when a lot of these, hot horology brands do chronographs or do watches in general, they end up quite sporty and bulky and big, which I think oftentimes it's more because of proportion and size, but it undermines the elegance of the watch. Even the Royal Oak, the most hyper-masculine utilitarian watch ever, right, is supposed to be elegant, and this watch is. Now, it comes with a price tag of $59,000, which puts it pretty close on par with Rolex's Platinum Daytona, and they have very similar color schemes. And while I love the Platinum Daytona, I would go with this watch. You just can't beat the finishing of the bracelet and the case of the Royal Oak. It's just something that, it's a marvel. It's an absolute marvel. So these are 3 of my 6 favorite watches of 2020 so far. There are more than 6 watches that I love this year, and I'm sure that there's more coming before the end of the year, but I know that you guys wanted to hear this, so there it was. If you'd like to win a Rolex, again, subscribe to our channel and sign up down below, and I will see you all on Friday for the next 3, which are also just incredibly good.